Большое спасибо. Во-первых, хотела бы поблагодарить вас за приглашение, хотел бы благодарить наших либеральных друзей из партии «Яблоко». Я рада принять участие в международной конференции под эгидой АЛДЕ. Большое спасибо. Рада приехать в Москву. Сегодня мы собрались для того, чтобы обсудить либеральные ценности с разных точек зрения, на разных уровнях. Но все-таки враг у нас один. Это консервативные тенденции в политической и общественной жизни Европы. Хотел бы подчеркнуть, что я рада иметь возможность говорить о либерализме.
Since multi-party system was established in early 90s. But I will also try to say something about liberal party history and Montenegrin society. First Liberal Alliance was established in the early 90s, and it was anti-war movement. It gathered support from all minority parties, but it couldn't prevent, unfortunately, war in former Yugoslavia. But it could echo the voice of peace and stability in the Balkans. Later on, Liberal Alliance started to lose its power. And 2004, it actually ceased to exist. The leader of Liberal Alliance decided to stop, actually to freeze functioning of Liberal Alliance with the explanation that there is no circumstances for political activism in Montenegro because of the ruling party, the biggest ruling party. However, the part of Liberal Alliance decided to fight, to continue the fight for liberal values and ideas, and then 2004-2005, Liberal Party was established. Since then, we participated in 2 elections. 2009, we lost our parliamentary status, and 2012, we regained our parliamentary status. Nowadays, we are a part of coalition government in Montenegro. What also I would like to mention about Montenegro, what is specific in comparison to other former Yugoslavia republics, it is that we do have the same ruling strongest party for last 25 years. It has been the same ruling party that was involved in Yugoslavia wars. And we have the same ruling establishment nowadays, when we are almost at a threshold of actually at the door of the European Union. And what I didn't plan to mention, but I was triggered by your previous discussion regarding sanctions, there is a very good example of how sanctions can actually have impact. But it depends on how state is strong and how economy of the state is strong. For example, I will give example of Serbia and Montenegro. At the beginning of early 90s, when the Yugoslavia started to dissolve, Slovenia left, Croatia left, there was a war. Bosnia tried to left without the war, but the war lasted 4 years. And Montenegro remained together with Serbia. And of course, international community imposed sanction to then Yugoslavia, to Serbia and Montenegro. And who suffered? There was a question, who suffered? Of course, people suffered. But what happened? It happened that in 1997, Montenegrin then government decided that they cannot ensure support from voters if they continue to stick to the politics that was led by Slobodan Milosevic. And then the government of Montenegro changed their course towards European Union and Euro-Atlantic integration. And another case in Serbia was that people actually were not satisfied, and they decided to change the ruling party. And they decided to change, actually to remove late Slobodan Milosevic. This is example of how sanctions can work somewhere. Now I'm going back again to liberalism in the former Yugoslavia countries. We cannot say that former Yugoslavia countries are fruitful soil for liberal idea. But on the other hand, we cannot say that liberal ideas did not win in former Yugoslavia republics. Having in mind that only liberal parties in early 90s advocated European integration and Euro-Atlantic integration. And what do we have today? Today we have two former Yugoslavia republics which are members of the EU, Slovenia and Croatia. We have two candidate states for the EU, Serbia and Montenegro, and Macedonia, three. And we do have Bosnia and Kosovo who are aspiring to get also candidate status. So we can say that liberal ideas triumphed, but did liberal parties benefit from these ideas? Unfortunately, in Montenegro, it's not the case. It's not the case also in Serbia. It's rather not case in Macedonia and Kosovo as well. But fortunately, in Slovenia and Croatia, governments actually in Slovenia since this summer there are no liberals in the government, but in Croatia we do have a strong liberal party, HNS, with 4 ministers in the government who are influencing and who are promoting liberal values. On the other hand, when we talk about the Balkans, we are aware that peace and stability was an issue for a long time. And it's even now when we consider situation in Bosnia, which is still divided country, which is still not under the rule of law. Almost 1/4 of a century after the dissolution of Yugoslavia, we do not have in some countries the rule of law. We still do need to work on it. And these are liberal core values. In order to fight and promote other liberal values, such liberal economies, such as creating new jobs, creating job opportunities, we need to ensure that rule of law is established in our countries. Well, how to explain the low support of liberal voters in respective countries in the EU, in the territory of former Yugoslavia? As my previous colleagues mentioned, it's very difficult for us liberals because we need to be brave and we need to tackle some issues and ideas that other parties, conservative parties, traditional parties, are not doing. For example, Montenegro is traditional society, conservative society, Bosnians as well, Serbia as well. If you mention, for example, fight for LGBTQ rights or fight for legalizing marijuana or decriminalizing prostitution, it's going to be an issue in large public. But somebody and someone needs to fight for these issues. They are not, for example, of great importance for larger public, but larger public needs to know that everybody has to have rights. It's not only at the moment LGBTQ rights, it's about all minority rights. For example, we had in Montenegro a statement from former Minister of Human Rights who said that it would be a shame if there is LGBTQ people in Montenegro. This was a statement made by Minister of Human and Minority Rights. And just imagine how it is difficult in such societies to promote ideas where, for example, you cannot convince people that it's not being a member of LGBTQ society is not disease. That legalizing prostitution or decriminalizing marijuana is not promoting or convincing people to use marijuana more or to encourage women to be prostitutes. It's something else. It's control over such things that we actually have in our territory. I would like also to mention that these issues are much easier dealt in former Yugoslavia republics when we act together. All liberal parties from former Yugoslavia together. 2008, Lipsin network was established in Macedonia, in Skopje. This is liberal Eastern Europe network, which gathers all liberals from the Balkans and which helps us to promote liberal ideas. It is very important for us to have these connections and associations among each other, how in Balkans, as well as in Europe and globally, internationally. Because it's louder when we talk all together, when all liberals from the Balkans have the same priority. That's EU and Euro-Atlantic integrations. And it's very important for us, when we do have liberals from Europe, to pull us in Europe and liberals from the Balkans to push our society towards the European Union. It's also very important for us to be part of liberal international, because countries where liberal forces are strong are the most advanced democracies, and those are states of the rule of law, and those are states that can serve our countries in the former Yugoslavia as examples to be followed. Thank you very much for your attention.